Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube right now, where a good majority of you guys spend a lot of your evenings. People love YouTube. Well, we're on there. Just search A Mediocre Time, Tom and Dan. Like and subscribe, and you can watch us all the time, Monday through Friday, from around 10 a.m. to right around 2:33 p.m.
Also, you can subscribe to our podcasts, ACT Podcast or A Mediocre Time Podcast. That's the uncensored one, and that's where all podcast platforms, you can, get us on demand anywhere you want, or our app, which is completely free. It just search Tom and Dan, and it'll be up there. Before we started the show, me and Daniel were talking about catching baseballs.
Yeah, we had a listener. We had a listener whose son caught one on TV. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're when they zero in on you and you catch the ball on TV and you make it look cool.
But he was a ball boy for a team.
No.
Oh.
He would, dude. I saw him running in the stands. He was working for the team, but running through the stands.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He must have been just working the game, and the ball just happened to come at him, and he caught it. But it was his first ball. He's a big baseball guy. Just happened to work his way up in the ranks.
Did he barehanded or did he had a glove?
I think he barehanded it, which is even cooler.
Yeah. It's cooler.
I
if
think
he barehanded.
plays baseball. He obviously works for the team, so I would imagine you should know how to catch a baseball if you work for a baseball team.
The coolest baseball catch I've ever seen. This is iconic, where the guy had his baby daughter in one hand and a beer in the other.
Yeah.
And he did the move where he lifted up his daughter enough where she was weightless, caught the ball barehanded, and then re-caught his daughter.
That's pretty awesome.
Without dropping his beer, and that is on TV, and they replayed it a bunch of times. It was probably on the Sports Center. That's a cool catch.
I was surprised at when we went to Savannah Bananas and watched that. I was surprised that people near me caught a ball. It happens more. If you're at the game and you're moving around enjoying the game, you might get close to one. It's rare, but it's not rare enough to make it impossible to do.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to a game and your goal was to get a baseball, you could go all season and try to get in areas and make it happen. I think you could.
If you just saw where most of the balls end up, it'd probably be a lot more foul balls, right?
It's all stat stuff.
Yeah.
Foul balls will be your friend. You'll
catching
find
a home run
that's what you want.
That's the best. If you caught because me and Daniel were talking about if someone next to you catches a ball and then hands it to you.
Well, I've never been handed one. No.
Not as valuable.
It's not.
I feel like.
But I do feel
for a kid, it's cool.
But I do feel like all adults, if you caught the ball and then a kid was trying to catch the ball too, and I do feel this way.
Yeah.
Give the ball to the kid. Don't be a punk.
I
do feel that way.
Yeah.
You're an adult.
Yeah. You're an adult. What is this ball
Let's keep some traditional things in place.
Although
they were waiting for that. They were waiting for that.
Yeah. What if because I see the group trying to catch the ball, and then you're just bigger, so you catch the ball above a kid.
You're not talking to me. The kids would be bigger than me.
Well, I'm just saying.
Right.
So then you have to give.
You have to.
But if you're by yourself and then you catch it,
you're good.
Then you're not obligated to go and hand the ball to the close kids.
That's why
if you're fighting
if you're
for
catching it and kids are trying to catch it at the same time, it's your obligation to help those kids get that ball. But if you're alone and you get the ball, hold it up. You can tip your hat. There was a guy a couple of weeks ago that hit one, and it was a big boy ball, and it was going out of the stands, and the guy put his hand up and barehanded it, and he caught it Studley, and he had a beer, and then he chugged his beer, and he looked at the camera, and everyone was like, whoa! They're always ex-baseball guys. They're all players. Austin Riley is
guess what? You're not catching a barehanded ball if you don't play baseball.
No.
There's not even a chance.
I'm going to say this. This is very insulting, but Kenny the pervert not catching a barehanded ball. You're just not having.
Me and you are not catching a barehanded ball.
No. I never said that. I never said that.
But you also brought up another cool one, which is the kayak catch.
Okay, I've only seen this once, but that one's harder because you don't get to track the ball.
The
whole time. You
also, that poor bastard's out there all the time and never roasting and never sees anything. How many times does he sit out there and no ball ever comes?
Well, it's free.
And then he kayaks back.
It's free. He's not paying for the ticket.
Is he watching a miniature? He's watching it on his phone.
Absolutely.
Right? He's watching the game on his phone.
Well, it used to be radio. I mean, the famous kayakers would have been radio guys.
Yeah.
That was the guys that would have been like Andrea's dad out there. He'd have a an old Walkman in his ears.
Could you imagine, like, you're some local and you bring your kayak to every home game?
Can you imagine trying to get your sons out there to catch balls in kayaks? 3 kayaks
you
in the Tampa sun waiting for the Rays to hit home runs?
You unload your kayak every home game. You get in the water.
Yeah.
And then
it's a retention pond, by the way. It's not even. I don't even know what you're in. Some they do have bodies of water, some bigger stadiums.
But you're in some stinky retention pond getting just roasted by the sun, just waiting for the anomaly home run to clear the park, which rarely happens, right?
Oh, out of the park is a big deal.
How many times has
not that many.
A kayaker even been like? How many times has that ball landed in the water? Plus, does it float or does it sink?
I think they do float, and that's another thing. They paddle over and they get it.
Ooh,
I got one.
How much
I feel like
of your
that's
life?
Hold on. If you have to paddle over and scoop it out with a little net, and then you hold it up and you go, "Hey, got one," that's not as good as you had to catch it. I feel like if you kayaked over to it and picked it up, you have to give that to a child.
Well, also, like, how...
It's not as cool if you could paddle over to it and scoop it out with a net.
Okay, so let's just say that old man went to, and I'm probably shooting low with this, he went to 300 games before one finally came over, right? Which probably is right? Like, it takes a while out of the whole...
What's weird about baseball is it works like that, but it also doesn't. It's kind of like the lottery. There are guys that I've been to 7 games. I got 6 balls, and I'm like, dude.
That's how randomness happens. I know, but let's just say 300 times he unloaded his kayak. He put on sunscreen, put on his hat. You know what I'm saying?
Put his jersey on because he is a fan.
He had to listen to his old crow wife bitch at him. She's like, "Why are you always doing this? You never go. You
never brought back anything.
You never brought back anything. Your sons want to spend time with you. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff.
Your sons would like to play some Fortnite. And you're still pulling the boat out there.
Yeah, 300 times. And then finally one comes, you're like, "Oh, it's happening." And then it lands and you get it, right?
Yeah.
What is that word? Like,
it's a lot, yeah.
So you put it up in your...
It's vindication, dude. It shuts the crow down. She can't... You
so
win
do you
that
still
day.
go out to try to get a second one?
Not immediately. Not immediately. But
you take
for
a
that
break?
day, you win. Think about how powerful that drive home is from the stadium. You know that as soon as you walk in the door, the crow can't come to and be like, "Nah." Like, you would walk it, you would lead with it. How empowering would that be?
Or are you like, oh... like the buildup was so much and it's so many times waiting that you got really addicted to the waiting, and when it finally happened you're disappointed because you thought it was going to be more grandiose than it was, and then you're sitting there.
You're describing a lot of me. You're describing a lot of things that happened to me.
And then you have this baseball, you're like, so many hours of my life wasted for this ball that no one cares about. And like, you know, they usually though.
Well, you would owe it to yourself to be happy, right?
Or do you force yourself to be?
You'd have to. You'd have to be like. You'd have to push that doubt out of your mind.
But you know what sucks is all this work, and then when you show one of your friends or whatever, they're never really that impressed or shocked. They're kind of like, "Oh, cool, good for you."
I don't watch baseball. That's what I get a lot. I get that a lot.
Yeah, you're like,
I told Vince Taylor.
My whole life.
I told Vince Taylor, and this is something. And you know what? I've been talking to Andrea about this to see if I can go back and find it. I found my baseball cards. I found my football cards. I found my baseball glove. I can't find my hats. I had Pete Rose spring training Cincinnati Reds hat given to me and David Cunningham when they used to do spring training here. I don't know if that was Bradenton. I don't know what area it was.
Was it his game-worn hat, or was it?
They have a million uniforms. But for that day, yes, it was, because I got past security. I walked past security at the time, and then I was in there, and then they're like, "You need to get out of here." And then he was walking by, and he put it on my head.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty damn awesome.
And you lost it?
I think I blacked out when my mom died, and then I just gutted her house and sold everything.
You sold your Pete Rose hat?
I think I did. I think I did sell my Pete Rose hat.
And you weren't blacked out. I was here when you were doing that. And you're like, "I'm selling everything." I'm like, "No, don't do it." You're like,
yeah, even the Pete Rose hat, Dad? I'm like, yes, even the Pete Rose hat.
You're like, "My trophies, everything."
I'm not BSing you. I almost cursed. I'm not BSing you. I had that hat.
Well, you ruined it. Some homeless man has a Pete Rose hat.
No, it would have been a collector. It would have been probably Dirty Jim. Be Jimmy. Jimmy goes to estate sales. He was over there picking my mom's bones.
So your baseball cards.
Yeah.
My
football cards are worth way more. My baseball cards are just they're very few. My football cards, I have Joe Montana, in that era, in the Joe Montana era, I have about as many rookie cards as you can think of.
We need. I was just talking to Eric this morning. Our merch is moving slow. We've really reached a dead spot.
I blame me. All the designs. The designs lately have been weird. I kind of went with the Kanye West androgynous Gap style.
We do a horrible job promoting it and stuff. Anyway, so I was like, I need to think of a promotion. I just figured it out.
How about shoot the shirts out of a stadium? No. And all of our listeners are in kayaks.
No. How about with every merch purchase, you get one signed Daniel Dennis football card?
Oh.
And would you be willing?
I'll go one further. If we did that, I will add in one Joe Montana rookie card because I have 7.
How much is that worth?
I don't know. Joe Montana rookie card.
It probably depends on what company made it, when it was.
It's about $140.
Oh, that's good.
Right? That's a good price.
Yeah.
That's a good price.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I mean,
I would do that. I have to make sure I still have 7 because I might have blacked out and sold those too. I go through these phases where I have no emotional attachment to anything. I don't. I really
what about
don't.
money? It's money. You
don't know attachment to it. I don't even know what money I have. I just know when it stops. And I'm like, well, it's done. There's nothing left here. When Andrea met me, I would just spend until my bank account would stop.
Yeah, that's the old Danny Denny I like to. You buy a room full of toys, I walk in and be like, oh my God.
There's 2,000 motorcycles. I had at one point, I had over 2,000 die-cast motorcycles.
Yeah. I remember that toy room.
All over the wall.
That's what I thought. I was like, I need to get a radio. These radio guys are rich.
Look how much money they waste.
Yeah, they waste their money on toys.
One day, I'm going to buy Jersey Mike's on Uber Eats. I'll be wasteful too. All right, you want to do some of these blind box? These are blind box voicemails.
All right.
These are. I've not listened to any of these. These are conventional voicemails too. These are the ones that come through on the phone line.
Oh, these are phone voicemails.
Phone voicemails. This is from the.
Okay.
These are called old people.
All right.
The other ones are digital young people. These are the old people. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Vegas. I was the dude that called about the dude looking for dudes to rock with. And
I'm sorry, what? Did we have guys calling and looking for dudes to rock with? I don't remember this.
I don't remember you calling in looking for dudes to rock with.
I'm sorry. Is this Mr. Beast?
Hey, anybody know some dudes that like rocking?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to finish this one?
Yeah.
And I think I tried to be a little bit clearer with what I'm looking for. I'm kind of envisioning like a pickup basketball game. You know what I mean? I wake up, I throw my dirty Jordans on, I strap on my, unnecessary wrist brace, and I go to the court looking for dudes to rock out. What are you guys rocking out with today?
I love this guy. This guy's one of my favorite callers. Okay, I'll play. I'll tell you what I'm rocking. I'm rocking College Football 25, and I can't stop playing it. And it's going to hurt.
But you're not with dudes. This guy needs you to rock out with other dudes.
Does it count if I rock it with Dansby? I put his UCF jersey on him. I call him my assistant coach, and I say he looks like like Coach O'Leary.
No, it doesn't count. You have to go to some place with a bunch of other dudes. And then you got to rock out. Daniel's not like I'm not like that either.
Yeah, I
don't want to go anywhere and rock out with anyone.
If I had my druthers, when I ended work here, I would leave here at 4:30. I would go to the strip club for 2 hours. I would hang out with some ladies. Get my mind right. Been around too many men. I'm around you all day.
That's it.
My wife, she barks at me like a man. I'm like, I just want to be around some lovely ladies, getting my head right.
You know, it's funny because this guy brings up like pickup basketball, and then when I was going to the gym, the Esporta, when training for the triathlon thing,
Esporta,
there were dudes playing in the indoor basketball court they have there
all
the time.
We're both too awkward to do that, right?
Oh, to like if I played basketball and I was looking to like play in a game, like
you'd never get into a game because you'd never be able to talk to the guys that get in the game.
Yeah, because I assume they're all friends and they do this regularly.
Who does he think he is?
Like I'm
coming into our game.
I don't know.
Is that what you would think?
Like if you're just a regular, like you don't have any buddies that play basketball.
I don't have any buddies.
Do you just go to the local court and do you just stand on the sidelines?
You do if you're a loser.
Dude, but what's the etiquette?
Yeah, you go there and you're like, hey man, I got next. And you have to be assertive. You have to go there and be like, "Hey guys, I know you got a game. How long are you gonna be?" And then they're like, "We'll be here for." At the end of this game, you mind if I jump in? You got to do it like that. I think I could do it.
Yeah, you have to ask if you could play. But if they already have their 5-on-5 or whatever, then But maybe
mind if I sub in?
Maybe if they're missing someone, then if you just keep showing up, they'll finally get you in the game. You're right.
Maybe they'll be like, "Yeah, we'll let you play if you." And then they say something that I can't say on radio.
And
then you're like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, really." And then you're like, "Okay." And then you go into the Planet Fitness bathroom.
Have you ever gone somewhere and just made friends with someone into the same things you're into? I've never done that.
What do you
like? Say
I'm confused.
Okay, say you're like
camp.
You like playing basketball.
Camp, I did when I was a kid.
I'm an adult.
No, that stops when you're an adult. I got to get to work now. I got no time to make friends. I only got a time to make money.
So my only hobby, NFL gambling, and I've told you, I've thought they do this.
But you have friends at least.
Things.
You have your bros, your Miami bros. I don't have them. My DeLand bros. They've turned their back on me.
Yeah, but
you know why? Because I turned my back on them.
Yeah, but I made those friends when I was so young. They're basically family now. I have to be their friend.
Yeah, but when you say that, every time you say that, I think of Olive Garden.
Your family. I hang out with them. If I met these people now, I'd never hang out with them. I don't even like their personality.
Tell them that.
No, I tell them.
Okay.
I'm like, your personality, I don't even like. But now I'm full. I have to be your friend. We're family at this point.
Honest answer: this show is the only vehicle that I have used to make friends, good friends, like someone like EJ, someone like Tony.
You're good friends with the EJ?
Yeah, EJ, Tony Munjet. These are people that Ross. I count Ross in that.
Yeah. I wouldn't count EJ that way. I look at him more of a.
Yeah, he's kind of gross.
As a employee
that
we don't pay. Yeah.
I kind of feel like.
Yeah.
He's like our kid that always in the chat room.
I don't know anything about him really. I think he's got some kids and a wife. Or something.
I like his wife more than him.
Yeah.
Have you ever met his wife?
Oh yeah,
she's lovely.
Yeah, she's way better.
She's
than
fantastic.
EJ.
Let's try this one right here. Oh, hold on. They left a second one. I can tell that this one didn't work.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hey, Tom and Dan. Calling to get your opinion on something because I was having a discussion with some friends, and they didn't seem to see eye to eye with me on this, so I wanted to know if maybe you guys did. But I was...
what is your opinion on eating children?
Kind of complaining to them that I take care of my grandparents who both are struggling.
Oh, wow.
They're 85 and 86.
Good
One
for you,
has
dude.
dementia, and it is my job to kind of be their caretaker, help with medication management, etc. But part of that is also dealing with their lawyers who's doing end of life planning, going to bringing them to doctors' offices, to hospitals when they fall, things like that. And I have never in my life, I'm 27, never in my life have I dealt with such a high frequency of apathy and attitude that I have just in the past year. And I don't know if it's, obviously it's tough to do all that stuff. It's a bummer. I'm highly susceptible to depression and stuff. And that's what you're told when you become like a official caretaker for old people. A lot of those people get depressed. But I feel like I'm going a bit crazy here. I'm not one to argue. I'm pretty assertive. Like I try to strike a healthy balance and speak up when someone needs to. But man, I find myself getting in arguments with doctors, nurses, hospitals about the most basic necessities. And I've taken care of old people before. It's just things just feel more difficult when you go out in public. And maybe I'm just changing. It's hard to tell, but I was wondering, are you guys finding the same thing? Are people just kind of miserable out there? And no problem being miserable, but dang, I don't know. I am facing. I just feel very negative, and I'm wondering if you guys were noticing any of the same stuff. Love the show.
Oh, I figured it out.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, historian.
Yeah.
I love you as a listener, and I appreciate you.
I figured it out. Why you're miserable is you're 27 and you're taking care of old ass grandparents.
Yeah,
and
good for you, dude.
And why is your?
But he's doing the. I mean, he's
where are
taking
your
care of
parents?
his family.
Where
I
are
don't
these?
know.
Where are these people's kids?
Well, that could
they
be a
should
whole,
take care
yeah,
of
but
them.
that could be a whole different tragedy
No, yeah.
story. You
No,
know,
I know.
You may not even want to open that treasure chest.
Well,
you
I'm
know,
just
like-
saying that's why you're miserable. It's not everybody out there in the world.
No,
so you're
it-
doing a
it-
miserable
it-
job.
No, it isn't. But it, yeah, it.
That's a hard-ass job.
It compounds on yourself. You see a lot of sad things. When I just in the twilight of dealing with my mom, it grades on you. And also, I think that you have to understand, and this would be the blanket statement I say about my first responder doctors and nurses that deal with this all the time. They're around it so much that a lot of times their attitude could be a bit more cavalier or a bit more casual to it. You know, it's
Yeah.
also not their loved one. It's also not their dad. It's also not their mom.
Yeah.
So I try to add in a heaping helping of patience because what they're doing is really hard and probably underpaid. And I try to be as patient as humanly possible and understand that they're going to look at it a little bit differently within reason.
It does become just your grandparents and old people. I went through this with my pop. They're just a cog in the system.
You probably did more of this than I did because you
Yeah.
were dealing with it a lot longer with your
Yeah,
granddad.
and just the doctor's appointments and like the doctors, and I even understand. Listen, if you do something and you got old people day after day, the same
Sad.
blood pressure, and they're not taking their medication. There's everything,
And they're not going to be overly positive. It's not fun.
It's over
not
and over.
fun stuff.
Guess what? They're miserable in their
Yeah.
job because it's just old people after old people, and that's all they see. They're depressed. So then and then your loved one, you go in there and you see them, they're just being treated like, there's not much bedside manner because
There's
they're
not.
just they're so dead
There's not.
inside.
And what I do is I get emotional about that because maybe the lack of bedside manner, it's not sometimes I don't equate it as a deliberate slight.
Yeah.
It's just sorry we're overworked or sorry this is the way that we do it, and then I
Yeah.
put my emotion on it and I get offended.
And it's like some of this is, I don't know how, like there was a time where there wasn't as many doctors and there wasn't this huge medical system and you got old and you just died of one thing or another. Like you weren't kept alive for an extra 10 years with medications and other stuff, and really just to be shuttled back and forth to the hospital and to different doctors. It's like, what is this person's quality of life? But again, that person no one wants to die.
Yeah.
No one's ready to die.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So then it's like we do this thing where we'll keep our loved ones and they'll keep themselves alive for probably 10 extra years for really, I mean, even if it's 5 extra years or a couple extra years, you're near the end. And it's, but what else are you going to do? No one is ever going to be like, you know what? I'm going to walk out in the woods and take care of it so my family doesn't, like that's in movies and stuff.
Yeah,
You're just like, I want to live. I'm scared.
Most people are not that noble.
Take me to the doctor. Give me my, flush my kidneys. Get me on dialysis. I'll do anything to live one more day. And then it's like, that's how it starts. And then slowly deteriorate. It's a thing that first a 27-year-old shouldn't have to deal with. Like this is something you deal with when you're middle-aged for the most part, and your life is slowed down. So I feel bad for kids that have to deal with. I say kids or like young people that have to deal with taking care of like 80-year-olds.
Yeah, we had a lot of that sort of in my family where you would have like the young. You'd have the young people about to go off and start their family, and then the grandparents or the mom and dad would get very sick, and then my mom and dad would end up having to do something about it. But but I do think baseline, just when I start to think, and maybe this will give you a little bit of hope, just when I start to think, because I'm susceptible to just about any energy out there, man. If it gets on me, and you've seen it. I'm probably the worst you've seen, right? Like your friend, as far as like if
being affected by other people's energy.
An energy can jump on me and just suck the life out of me. But just when I start to think that everybody out there is miserable, and like what he was saying, hey guys, is everybody out there just hating everything that's going on right now? Just when I ask myself that, because I'll see some things too that I'll be like, wow, everybody's angry. I'll meet some person out there that is inspiring, is positive, is hilariously funny. I'm triggering myself again. And it sends me the other direction.
Yeah.
And I go, nah, I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to, because the trap is, the great magnifier is negativity. Not to sound like a positive person, but negativity is, if you get just a speck of it on you, it magnifies. But positivity is not the same, and I don't understand why. I'm sure there's science behind it, but it's out there.
It is also what you consume has a lot to do with
garbage in, garbage out. Yeah.
Because I'll encounter plenty of people that will tell me, man, the world is crazier than ever. It's worse than ever. People are worse than ever now than ever. And then it's like, I don't feel that way. It's the same world that it's been for a while. Like, I go to Publix and everybody seems to be nice, and I don't take in all this politics and negativity.
And it may be out there, and some of it is out there. But I'm just saying that just when I start to think that, oh man, everybody's mad, I'll meet somebody and I'll be like, no, I'm not going to believe that because that person's awesome.
I don't watch local news and the murder and stuff. Like, you consume enough murder, and you'll start getting worried about murder. It's inevitable.
I had to stop turning that off at night because I normally do watch the news.
I don't need to see all the horrible things happening in the world.
Maisie's asking me questions about it. I don't need that.
What good is no one's ever. And then I'm like, no, you're addicted to the emotion of fear and you're happy, sad, where you usually want an emotional response.
It is a
That's
chemical.
The only reason, because
it's a spike in your brain and you feel something.
Like, knowing any of this information is not helping you in your life. It's just causing a spike in some chemical.
Probably cortisol.
Or something.
Stress level.
Yeah. But it's like, why are you consuming this stuff? It has to be because of that. And then it's like, you stop doing that, your outlook will change a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I do laugh sometimes when people are like, Dan, you're awfully negative. And I'm like, I don't think you even know. I don't think you get it. I don't think you know. Let's try this one.
Hey, Tom and Dan. This is BDM Charles. Just hitting you guys up. I had a question for you. What's the point of everything in this world?
Is it?
I know this. I have an answer to this.
When you just suffer tragedy after tragedy. Over the past 4 years, I've lost my dad.
Oh, man.
I lost my sister.
I promise you I didn't know that this was going to be back-to-back, but, I mean, we must have been having a Tuesday.
Lost my brother. Now I lost my brother's son, my nephew.
Oh, Charles.
Like, what's the point? I mean, you got an illness that you'll never recover from. You got all these bad people in the world, and you just lose somebody that's sweet and just a good person who was here to take care of his little brother and his mom, and when his dad passed away, and now he's gone. How do you just keep fighting through it?
Oh, buddy, I'm sorry, Charles.
I got the answer for you.
Yeah, hit him with a joke, please, because the chat room is stat. Clear.
And
clear.
And the answer is not what you're going to want to hear.
Oh, man, well, don't give him the hard answer. Let me send you a Joe Montana rookie card.
But I've thought about this, and then there is a lot of what's the point. And this,
I did a lot of this a couple of years ago when my mom passed away. I know.
And so no matter what is happening in your life, and no matter how many bad things are happening in your life, or how many bad things happen to you or loved ones or anything like that, the number one thing is that you're still alive. And as long as you're still alive, there's something.
Yeah.
Because there's
That's
this.
very simple.
Or there's nothing. And beyond your religious beliefs or whatever, whatever you believe, there's that or whatever.
So you're kind of going with a more.
If you're alive,
to boil it down, it's like lights on or lights off, buddy. What do you want?
And that's the baseline of it. You're alive.
Right.
Now, sometimes because of depression and because of how your brain works, it could be a miserable existence, and I feel bad for you. But there are medications, and I assure you,
counseling, bro.
There's things that they try to help yourself.
People that you can talk to.
Because sometimes some medication can help you change those chemicals, and you don't feel that way anymore. Anyway, but the baseline is you are alive, and so that's something.
Yeah.
Right. Like even
it's more than something.
Even if you are eventually going to pass away or whatever, and then I look at it that way because I've talked to some people that have some terminal illnesses and things like that, and I've had to justify or like wrap my brain around how to handle that if that happens to me, right?
Yeah.
And I've fallen back on this theory where I may be dying, but everybody I ever known is going to die too. So
we're even, mother.
When 100 years, we'll all be in the same place.
Right.
So
it's the same thing you've been using on me. It's the same thing you've been using. It's the same logic you've been using on me with the multiple sex partners I've had, and the fact that you've never had multiple sex partners. Now
it's
been such a long time
that
we're even now because I haven't had a different woman in 15 years.
Like I may be dying tomorrow, but you'll die in 50 years. And then on the grandiose scheme of time, that's just a blink of an eye, in the human existence, or billions of years, it's nothing. And so it's all kind of the same anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
the most positive thing you've ever said.
If you wake up in the morning, you got that. Yeah. Even though if it's all bad, it's like you're alive.
I like that.
You can still feel something. You can still whatever. You can do whatever.
Hey, you can go to the computer.
It may be rougher than other people.
You can go to
alive.
the computer and type in Pornhub.com and have a good day.
Yeah. Maybe you have enough money. Me and Daniel have always said this. If you have enough money to buy 12-pack of beer, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, 12 high school beer and some Pornhub. Not bad.
Yeah.
Let's try this one right here.
In North Carolina, founder of BDM here. A couple weeks ago, Dan made a passing comment on a show that a JRR DJ found Matchbox 20. That's not true. My friend Neil Dog James did, and he told me that as soon as I moved to Orlando in 2014. Thank you. Goodbye.
No, you're absolutely wrong, sir. And your muffled, horrible cell phone ruined everything you were trying to say. Yeah, there was an A&R rep that worked for JRR here at the time who absolutely put Matchbox 20 on the map, and I believe his name was Steve O. I think it was Steve O. Robinson.
And he's the one that started playing Matchbox 20 on the radio.
I think other people had their hands in some of that too. But I don't know who you're talking about, but hey, if you want to call back and debate it with me, I would love to do it because I think you are wrong.
Well, I'm sure there's lots of people
that claim it.
That claim that they're the ones that started something.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's probably a group or things of all kind of started around one time.
I'll give you one. Jim Colbert of the Jim Colbert Show says that he invented the McDonald's salad shaker. He insists that he invented the McDonald's salad shaker. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he'll be on our BDM show this coming Monday if you want to hear it.
Yes,
but I do remember that. That's a classic example of lots of humans think of the same idea. And if you think of something and then someone else comes out with it, they didn't steal it.
Have you ever had one?
Oh, there's tons of things we thought about.
No, but one that you remember that you're like, damn it, I really thought I had something there.
Poober?
Yeah, okay. All right, that's fair.
It turned into, but someone else had this. They didn't steal it. They just had that same stupid idea. And it's not even that smart.
Still going. I mean, it's still happening. Let's try this one right here.
Hey, talking about the Hawk Tuah girl, I'm wondering if you guys have your own plan. If one of the clips that you have online goes viral somehow, do you have a plan for how you're going to monetize things, how you're going to get the most money? For me, if it was me, I'd be like, I'm the Hawk Tuah girl. I'll be down at the beepers and phones from 3 to 6. I'll spit on anything for $20. I'll do a whole world tour of spitting on I'll be so dehydrated, but I'll have enough money for some real good water. I'll be spitting on everything. $20. Anyway, what's your plan?
We don't have a plan for our social media, do we?
This gentleman's thinking way too small, by the way. And I've been following, looking at the Hawk Tuah girl will pop up. And you saw the other day she went to some country concert and she's like, hey, everybody give it up. And then no one said anything.
Hey, everybody get ready because here comes country music. Woo-woo!
And then nothing. Yeah. No one cares. But I go back to this, and if she just started OnlyFans just like Bad Bunny did, and by the way, you told me how much Bad Bunny's made on OnlyFans?
Like $65 million.
$65 million.
Crazy.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
There are football players in the National Football League that have not made that much.
That are literally the best at their position.
Yeah. They have not made that much.
There are definitely defensive players that are the best at what they do that don't get paid that. And risk their lives.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other. There are
teachers,
cops. Well, yeah,
firefighters.
I'm talking. There's movie stars. That means
Yeah,
people
movie
that you
stars.
expect to be rich.
I'm just thinking high paid or low paid.
CEOs. There's CEOs
CEOs
of companies that have not made $65 million.
Are we CEOs?
And-
Technically, are we CEOs?
And all she did is she knew how horny and disgusting the world is.
And I don't think she ever got nude, dude.
And no, she didn't have to. But she was willing to put herself out there. She didn't care. And then Hawk to a girl doesn't want to do that. And whatever, that's her decision. But that's her only way to get rich.
From the chat room, Captain Pizza Pants.
No other way.
I came up with the idea of headlights that turn in the direction you're turning, and I sent an email to Cadillac when I was 10 years old. They showed up on their cars like 2 years later. I definitely missed out on the money on that.
Hold on. An idea isn't worth anything. I want to tell people
But
that.
I do believe in those things. I do believe that those things happen where like good ideas come into corporations, and then the people go
Of
like, oh
course.
yeah, we're gonna do that idea.
Yeah. But also, they could have already thought about that idea.
True.
Because there are plenty of...
And they're big enough to even say and lie and said that they thought about it, even if they didn't.
Yeah. But if you sit around, they pay, especially in big companies, they pay think tanks of people to sit around and try to think of the next idea, and they're doing that full time for a job. So most likely they thought of it, and it's in their, like a back burner somewhere.
We got a little closer here. Baby Bull in our in our YouTube chat room says, me and my buddies had a pretty unique idea that was an awesome tailgating idea. We started hashing out details, even to the point of discussing a prototype being built and getting a patent. Sure enough, and he says, sure enough, the patent already existed of pretty much exactly what we came up with. Yeah.
There's no unique idea. And that's another thing, too. I tell Crystal this all the time. Every time she comes up with something, she's like, I came up with this idea. I'm like, it's been thought of.
Yeah.
And then now we could prove
Tons
it
of
by
those.
you search it on Google, and of course,
normally you can find most of them. It's got to be pretty
Yeah.
out there to not be thought of.
No.
Or maybe something that's hypercomputer, or maybe something's super specific to a... Or
very specific
very
industry
specific.
that's small. But if you think you have a general idea,
Yeah.
another human has thought of that. Guaranteed. There is no chance that you're
Dude, it
thinking
happens
of
with jokes. It happens with everything.
Any idea you've thought of, another human has thought of it, and now it can be proven through the internet. Type in your idea, it's out there.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things to think about, and I've thought about this before laying in bed, maybe inebriated.
We're not unique.
But is thinking about like there are jokes that big name mega comedians make that they may not have made them first because so many people are actively online doing comedy.
Yeah. Plagiarism is not really a thing anymore.
It's virtually it's like you have a comedy factory going at all times in every country, just pumping out nothing but people doing jokes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, an insane amount.
Just gigs upon gigs of just data, and it's just
people's thoughts.
Yeah, it's just and talk shows and podcasts, and it's just wild.
If you are a new comedian, you could probably just go through all the memes and then write your whole bit just based on the current
I think people
society.
are doing that, and that's where you're getting some pushback.
But then, so who cares? Then it comes back to it's just about are you able to perform in front of an audience and sell tickets? That's your job.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what the content is.
Let's try. I think we got time for one more. Let's try this one.
Hey guys, did you hear today at the Trump rally somebody shot?
No, we're not gonna do that one. I guess this is why you're supposed to check them.
yeah.
This is why you're supposed to check them. We
We
did hear about that. We did hear about that.
Did you really call in our voicemail and be like, "Hey, did you hear what happened?
Hey, did you hear what happened? It was an assassination attempt."
And then we're gonna be like, "What?
Wait,
oh my
hold
God!"
on, check that. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Check that.
Yeah.
Did that really happen?
Do you understand how 2024 works?
We were just telling you about that. We were just giving a whole lecture about how the whole No, he didn't know.
He's doing like the Michael Jackson died thing.
I don't think he was. No, I think he was excited. We get a lot of these still that people are still. We get a lot of them.
He may have been joking.
No, the number one we got.
That's kind of funny if you call someone.
No, that's not what they're doing.
If you called someone
it was not a joke.
2 weeks after the assassination attempt, and you're like, "Hey, did you hear what happened?"
Text your grandpa.
Like as if the person didn't hear.
No, that is. I don't think that was a joke because we got more voicemails about people that were like, "Hey, I'm watching the home run derby live right now, and this girl is singing the national anthem horribly." Number one, I didn't know that many people watch baseball live. Number two, we got tons of people that were calling me as they were watching it. So So I don't think it's jokes.
Yeah, guess what? Daniel's going to see it. It's in his algorithm.
I can't not see it.
Baseball's in his algorithm?
No, but just breaking news is in my algorithm. I wake up every day to see the stuff we're supposed to talk about.
Yeah. You do not need to tell another human anything anymore.
All right, here's the last one. Last one here.
Tom and Dan, it's your boy Cadillac Pat. I'm listening to the show. EJ dropped off that Mortal Kombat machine. I'm very proud of you guys. But if it's in the way, you can keep it in my house for safekeeping. I know it's a loaner. It'll go perfect in my little arcade if you don't want it. But I still want to come by and play it. Love you guys. Bye.
Okay, come on by. You can
get
pick it up tomorrow.
We were just mad about it the other day.
We were just talking about how you can come get it.
I walked by it. I was like, tell EJ to get his GD garbage out of here.
He did say that. EJ's in the chat room right now. Yeah, he did. He goes, God damn, bringing his cardboard piece of ass over. He was yelling at. I thought he was going to kick it.
Yeah. Because I was cleaning.
Were you going to kick it?
Because I went to the dump yesterday.
Yeah. You picked it up as a joke, and then he started
I was
going to
take it to the dump.
He was. He's going to throw it. He's going to finish him and throw it into the dump.
I took a bunch of banners and some other garbage.
Oh, by the way, if you ever gave us anything via the P.O. Box, if you sent anything here, we threw it all away yesterday.
No, I keep that.
Anything you made, if you made us something, if you made I wood burned this, I carved this, I made you a lamp, here's a chair, we threw it all away.
No, that I could resell in mystery boxes, but not, my grand business plan.
This is the grand plan?
I take the garbage.
Tom Van's grand plan.
I take the garbage the listeners give me, and then I repurpose it in mystery boxes, and I give it back out, sell it back to the listener.
Ghost is saying, Ghost of Manu Bull in our Twitch chat room says, oh my God, did Tom throw away my Hooters cards? Yes, it was the first thing he threw away.
No, I got that in the mystery box pile.
We found a lot of we'll end with this. Me and Ghost, I'll say his real name because I want to call him out, Ryan. We searched those ladies, the Hooters ladies, on Facebook, and we found them all.
Yeah, I know. You told me about this.
And then
I couldn't be involved. I was like, this is too far.
We didn't message them, but we found all of them and compiled an entire, a dossier. And we were so close to wanting to write them to see if we could get the band back together, if you know what I mean. Do you think any of them would, for money, don the bikini one more go and bring me a wing?
I think they would. It turns out people will do stuff for money. That's
all right. Let's get out of here, buddy.
All right. We will see you on Monday.
That's funny.
That is funny.
All right, guys. Is that it?
That's it for recording today.
All right, y'all. I guess we'll see you tomorrow for a big Friday Free Show with Brendan O'Connor.
Yep.
And